Good morning. Happy Friday. We are going into a holiday weekend, so I think some people are off today in addition to Monday, or they're just off Monday, like I'm going to work now. But it is a 3-day weekend, hopefully. For those of you that do have to work on the holiday, thank you. I know that giving up those times with your family sometimes can be harrowing, but we appreciate anybody's hard work around here. So, especially those in law enforcement and firefighters and healthcare workers. Those things we never close. So someone's got to be at the hospital. Somebody's got to be at the police department. So we do appreciate those of you who are working through the holidays, and often those weekends tend to be a bit crazier and more intense as well. So I will be praying for rest and calm through the weekend for all of you. But going into the weekend, so a couple of things I wanted to talk about today. So the first thing foremost, little spiel, I gotta throw it out there. Next session for my new clients starts on July 11th. If you are interested, please reach out as soon as possible. I don't want you to miss out on the opportunity. Spots are limited. So if you're interested, please let me know. The other thing, so that's the salesy. Unfortunately, we did have a discount code that closed last night at midnight. So, oh well, it's worth far more than what it's actually the cost. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you about it. I obviously am a big fan of what we do, and would love to get you involved. So let me know. All right, that's done. I don't like it. I want to talk to you about the stuff that helps. And the program is great and it helps and it gives you all the details, but I just want to talk to you. That's far more entertaining to me. So enough of that. Going into the holiday weekend, I know that there's a lot of angst when folks have been working hard on their nutrition and their fitness. A lot of parties, people wondering if they're going to stay on their plan, get off track. What's it going to do? Is it going to derail them? And, and it's not that those aren't legitimate concerns, but I've said it before, you're not going to undo weeks of work in one day. Okay. Now, I know that psychologically, sometimes people have to set some boundaries so that they don't, fall off the wagon, if you will. Sometimes if you've had really good momentum, you may want to really strongly consider staying on plan. If you lose momentum, if you know yourself and if you lose that momentum that you're going to have trouble coming back from it, then that's something to consider. But also realize that you're never not going to go to a party for the rest of your life. You're never not going to, you may never not eat another piece of cake, but you get the idea. Like at some point in time in your life, something's going to come across that you enjoy and you're going to want to partake in it. So learning how to manage the minefields, if you will, is very beneficial. And there's lots of ways to go about doing that. The things I always encourage folks to do is make sure you're staying hydrated. Make sure that, I know some people sit there and go, oh, well, save your macros for the party. That way you can really enjoy what you want to do. And there's truth to that. But most food at parties is going to be high in carbs and high in fat. Okay. There's going to be usually some good sources of protein, but that's not going to be the vast majority. And those protein sources tend to be, fried or, have some sauces or whatever. So there is some truth to saving your macros if you don't want to go off plan, okay? But your chances are you're going to be low in protein. So I encourage you to make sure that the day you're going to go do something, that you eat plenty of protein before you get there so that you've already met those goals for the day, or have gotten close, so that you're not at risk it being under proteined and over fatted and over carbed. Okay, not that carbs and fats are bad, but it's about balance, right? So planning ahead on that regard can be very beneficial. Making sure you're staying hydrated. Don't go to the party dehydrated. Okay, you may, if they don't have great beverage choices, you may not get enough water while you're there. You may end up overeating because you're technically thirsty and you're trying to sate your thirst with food. Also not a good plan, by the way. Some people who practice intermittent fasting, they like to extend their fast a little bit so that they really can take advantage of dropping those insulin levels prior to going to an event. So those are a few things you can do. And if you know ahead of time what's going to be at the party, you can even plan ahead further. If you're choosing to partake in adult beverages, set some ground rules for yourself. Tell yourself what you're allowed to have, how much you're allowed to have. You do need to be flexible, but on the other hand, your goals are far more important than one day. Okay. That being, memories over macros though is a thing. Okay. And if you're going to somebody, say it's your kid's wedding. Okay. Are you not going to have a piece of your kid's wedding cake? Okay. So there's something to be said about memories over macros, and there is a time and a place for all of those things, and learning how to manage it is key. So same thing's true of 4th of July parties. I promise you it will not be the last hamburger or hot dog you have offered to you in your lifetime. So you don't really have to worry about missing out on that opportunity unless, it's just something you really enjoy or you plan for it. So, we are actually having a little party on Sunday as a birthday party for one of my kids. And we're going to be having hot dogs and hamburgers. I fully intend on having a hamburger. Okay. That's going to be a choice that I'm making, and I'm going to plan ahead for it and make the choices I can. I will also probably buy a bun that maybe some gluten-free buns, I haven't decided yet, to utilize, and we'll go from there. I plan on enjoying myself. I do plan on having cake. It's my kid's birthday. I'm going to enjoy that. Will not be the last piece of cake I ever have in my life. But it is what it is. I'm making it. I'm going to eat it. So this is horrible. I'm sorry. I'm going to back up and change parking spots. I can't see. I got to be able to see. So anyway. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about, was just managing the minefields of holidays and events. So staying hydrated, planning ahead when you can, and really, making sure that you're meeting your protein requirements. Okay. Cause that's much better. Sorry. You don't want to shortchange yourself because you're afraid you're going to overindulge in something else. You still need those proteins. You still need that nutrition. When you go to the party, pick whole food choices as much as you can. I guarantee you nobody's going to be fighting you over the veggie tray. Okay. Enjoy it. There's usually fruit salad. There's, yes, there's going to be chips and stuff like that too. And if there's something you really enjoy, then watch your portions, but be realistic. Okay. It's a party. You're going to enjoy it. And at the end of the day, it's that 80-20 principle. If you're on point 80% of the time, you're going to do okay. Even if you're off plan 20% of the time. Okay. Will you be as zoned in? Probably not, but is it going to totally derail your progress? Of course not. Okay. So plan ahead when you can, stay hydrated, eat your proteins, and try and pick whole foods whenever possible. And realize that sometimes memories over macros is more important. So that's managing the weekend. So that's part one. Part two, and this will be a little bit shorter, is talking about imposter syndrome a little bit. I posted something earlier this week, or yesterday morning or the night before, on my social media about a comment that I got from a patient. In healthcare, patients fill out patient satisfaction forms, they write comments, it's anonymous. There's really no way to like go back and talk to that person about it. So, you know, if someone has a real problem, there's multiple issues there with that. I mean, one, yes, I think people should be able to say things in a safe way so that they can reveal if there's actually problems. But if someone's having a real issue and you want to fix it, you have no opportunity to either. But the comment was along the lines of, I don't feel that an overweight doctor should be, is in a position to give weight loss advice. Okay. I hear that. I hear you. There's a couple ways to look at that. One, somebody who struggled with their weight is more likely more empathetic and has tried more things than someone who hasn't. Okay. So they probably are in some ways much more educated. Okay. Two, you don't know where that doctor's been or a clinician's been. Okay. You don't know what their history is. This person obviously has no idea what my history is. If they had been in the clinic for more than 3 years, they would know where I've been and that I am in a position to say something, but that's their issue. Also, chances are, if we actually were having a real conversation about body composition and nutrition and health, the patient probably asked me for some advice and I gave it. They didn't like it. Okay. And it's one of those things with medicine, they want us to make patients happy because the patient is the client. Okay. And I get it's a customer satisfaction to an extent. However, and this is something I know a lot of doctors and nurse practitioners and PAs were frustrated by, because sometimes what's good medicine isn't always what people want. Okay. Sometimes what you need isn't what you want. Sometimes what you receive isn't what you were looking for. It doesn't mean it's not what you need. It doesn't mean that it's not the best choice. It's just not what you wanted. Okay. It's akin to opening up a Christmas present and finding a brand new pair of tennis shoes, and what you really wanted was a My Little Pony. Okay. Maybe the My Little Pony is a lot of fun. Okay. But if you didn't have shoes, you needed shoes. Okay. So it's kind of like being a parent in that you provide your kids with what they need. You don't need to be your kid's best friend. In fact, you shouldn't be your kid's best friend. I tell my kids all the time, my job isn't to be your friend, but to be your mother, and my job is to make you good men. So that's the reality of it. My job is to be a good doctor, not to be everybody's best friend. So there's some challenges there, but at the end of the day, it kind of got under my skin a little bit, because, you know, you work really hard, you make all these changes, but then, and not only is it that person's issue, it's not mine, but I did need to realize that, hey, there's something here that I'm struggling with. And that's because my whole life I have considered myself to be in this overweight category or obese category. And honestly, for a lot of it, I was. And just because that's how I still view myself that way at times. Okay. And that's hard. And those are things I'm trying to work on mentally. There's some really good resources, some books that I'm going to be looking into that I've known about that I just haven't pursued, because time, but spending time focusing on, you know, some of the words of God in the Bible as well, trying to, you know, who I am as a child of Christ. I think I need to spend some time doing that. And then, you know, focusing in on what's important to me and not what somebody else says that I should be, you know, because that's not, at the end of the day, that's not who makes me who I am. That's not, I shouldn't be defined by somebody else's opinions on that end. So anyway, happy Friday. Happy 4th of July. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend, and don't forget to leave any comments below. Have a good one.